Hello, my name is David Bettridge and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would show you a refactor I came across. I've rewritten this example in Python, but it sort of applies to any language. So if we look at the code. So imagine you've been given a method, in this case I've called it find maximum, which takes two parameters in. First of all it takes in a list of integers, and then it takes a second parameter which is a method or a technique to use. So this is a simplified example. Don't worry too much about what this code does in here. It's more the structure we're interested in. So if the method is passed in is fast, it runs these two lines of code. If the method passed in is deep, it runs this line of code. And if the method that's passed in is neither fast or deep, it runs this line of code down here. So one of the important things to look at here is the fact there's no real shared code between the two, but we do have some good error handling around it all. And then where it's used is down here, so you can see it's only ever called in two places, down here, and it's passed in once with fast and once with deep. So the first refactor that probably springs to mind is the fact we're doing these comparisons with strings. And the problem with those is if somebody mistypes fast or deep or changes the case, for example, gives it a capital F, then the if statement won't match and the code's not going to run correctly. The solution to this is to replace these strings with constants. So constants in Python you do in capital letters, so we can call it method fast. And if we want we can add a typing hint as well, so if we use final for that. And we do the same thing with deep. And then wherever we use these strings we can replace them with our constants. And so hopefully you can see that fixes the first issue in that. Now as long as people are using the constants when they're calling the method, they can't mistype them anymore. They're fixed up here. However, it turns out we can actually do better than this still. So assuming you've got good unit tests around it all and you're quite happy to go in and do refactoring, what we can do is we can take our method, just take a copy of it for a second, and let's pretend we're just going to simplify it. So all it does is the fast technique. So we only really need the code within this if statement block. So the example does these two lines, which means we can delete all the other code. And we can't have two functions both called find maximum, so let's rename this one to say using fast or fast technique. And then our method parameter isn't used anymore, so we can get rid of that. And what we can do is we do the same thing with this. So we just take a copy of this, and again, just pretend all it does is the deep method. So this block of code down here, which in a very simple example is just one line of code. And as before, we need to rename the method. And we can get rid of the extra parameter because that's not used anymore. And then when we're using it, I'll just take a copy of this so we can see the old version as well. So when we're using it, instead of calling the old function, we can call the new functions. And of course the new functions now only take one parameter, so we can get rid of the second parameter. Okay, so hopefully you can see this code actually does the same thing as before, just it's actually a lot simpler. We've got less lines of code, and also we've got less complexity because there's no longer an if statement. So when you're reading the code, you don't have to worry about which method am I using, making sure we drop into the right bit of code. So you can see here it's really simple to read it. And the other advantage is it's no longer possible to call it with an invalid method because method's not even a parameter now, so it can't possibly be invalid. However, in order to do this refactoring, there's a couple of things. First of all, it only really works because there's no code shared between these two techniques. If we had shared code before or after this if statement, then they wouldn't split out anywhere near as nicely. The other time this wouldn't work is if these weren't constants. If instead the method had actually been passed into this calling method as well, and then in turn that's passed down to our method. So the problem here is if we rename it into two separate methods, it wouldn't know which method to call at this point, so we'd end up reintroducing the if statement, so the refactor wouldn't actually achieve anything. Hopefully you found that useful. I intend to add a few more short videos as I come across these sorts of refactors, so make sure you subscribe, and thank you for watching.